Welcome to the Retirement Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Greg Gonzalez. My goal for the podcast is to help you live a better life in retirement by giving you the tools and information you need in a language that you can understand. As a professional retirement planner in St. Louis, Missouri, I get to meet and speak with a lot of nice folks who all want a successful outcome in retirement. They're all looking for the information that can help benefit them this year and in the years to come. And everybody's retirement is going to look different. Success means different things to different people. In fact, I was looking at our records, and we actually are lucky enough to have clients in 17 of the 50 different states. And every retirement plan that we help people with is different because people have different retirement goals and lifelong goals. Their family dynamics are different. Their hobbies are different. And that's really what makes retirement planning so fun for us. And on today's episode, I wanted to really stress the importance of planning ahead, having a retirement plan written for you well before your intended retirement date. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about what a well-written, well-constructed retirement plan should do for you and what questions should it answer. Your retirement plan will be so powerful and for many people crucial to your retirement success. But before we jump in to our discussion of a retirement plan, I wanted to remind listeners to check out our website, which is retirementmadeeasypodcast.com, all one word, retirementmadeeasypodcast.com. There you can check out our free retirement secret sauce, as well as our tax planning guide for 2020. And also, you can check out previous episodes right there on the website. So retirementmadeeasypodcast.com. You can send me your listener questions, and I'd be happy to respond to those as well. I guess I can start off with a listener question from last week. Nancy sent me a question right there on the website that said, Greg, do you recommend any books on retirement that me and my husband Bill can read as we prepare? Nancy, thanks for the question. And I will actually be sending you a book that I highly recommend, which is Simple Wealth, Inevitable Wealth. And in my opinion, this is the best book that has ever been written for long-term investment success and retirement planning success. The author is Nick Murray. He has updated this book on several occasions, and I believe it's in its 20th anniversary edition right now, which I will be sending to Nancy, and I really think you're going to enjoy that book, Nancy. Book number 2 is called The New Retirementality. This book was written by Mitch Anthony. I've heard Mitch speak on several occasions, and he's an absolutely fascinating gentleman. This book, The New Retirementality, is now in its 5th edition. It's become very popular. And Mitch really discusses planning for the best possible life in retirement, aside from the financial matters. So it's going to help you really navigate towards a return on life instead of return on your money and investments and that kind of thing. I think for someone transitioning into retirement, this book is an absolute must-read. It's very well written and well thought out. And it addresses the fact that your retirement, my retirement, is not going to be like our grandparents' retirement or our great-grandparents' retirement. It's going to be completely different. And Mitch goes into that on all the studies that have been done on today's retirement, what it looks like, how it differs, and how people are making the most of their golden years with the resources that they have. So I encourage you to check out those 2 books. Again, Simple Wealth, Inevitable Wealth. If you don't own that book, I would go out and buy it or give it to a friend or family member or a colleague. That's written by Nick Murray. And The New Retirementality, for someone that's approaching retirement, this is really a must-read. That book is written by Mitch Anthony. It's currently in its 5th edition. Now, on today's episode, we wanted to talk about what a retirement plan is, how it can be useful to you, and if you're years out from retirement, what questions it will help you answer. So, the first question is, what is a retirement plan? What if you've never seen one before and you have no idea what to expect? Well, a retirement plan looks at where you are currently with the resources that you have, and it's going to make assumptions that you stay on this current path, and it projects what your future retirement will look like. Will it be a successful and a rosy future, or will it be a not so good future? Many people want to know, hey, am I on track for retirement or am I behind? Am I off track? And so the retirement plan is going to help you determine, okay, at this pace, you're going to have a great retirement. Or maybe there's some changes we can make to get back on track on your journey towards retirement. So the sooner you can get a retirement plan done and completed to determine, are you on track or are you behind in your journey towards retirement, the better. I'll give you a quick example. Let's assume you want to retire at the end of the year and you go and meet with your retirement planner and you say, hey, I want to retire at the end of the year and I need some help. Well, the first thing the retirement planner is probably going to do is get an idea of your complete picture, your complete situation, what you want to accomplish in the future, and then put together this retirement plan. But the bad news about doing it waiting until the last minute to get a retirement plan completed, is that the retirement planner might find some gaps in your retirement plan. And they could have been filled years before. So when you were 5 years or 4 years out from retirement, maybe these gaps could have been filled in and you'd have a more secure retirement. So the sooner you can get this retirement plan in place, the better. As a retirement planner, it just breaks my heart when people come to me and want a retirement plan done, and they're excited about the prospects of retirement and what the future is going to look like in retirement, where every day is a Saturday, and we do their retirement plan, present it to them, and it turns out that they really can't afford the retirement lifestyle that they had dreamed of. In other words, their retirement is underfunded. And I often say to myself, gosh, I wish this nice couple would have come to me 4 or 5 years ago where we could fill in these gaps and we could encourage them to maybe save more in that retirement red zone leading up to their retirement date. I mean, just imagine you're on the doorstep of retirement and your retirement planner says to you, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I ran the numbers and it's not looking good. You're going to have to either live on less money in retirement or you're going to have to push off your retirement and continue to work for another 2 to 4 years. That's just terrible news, not only for the retirement planner to have to deliver, but terrible news for you to have to hear. So if you can have your retirement plan presented to you and put together 5 years out from retirement, in my opinion, it just allows for more adjustments to be made in those years leading up to that oh so important retirement date. And you might be thinking, oh, well, what's an adjustment that could be made leading up to retirement? Well, it might be maxing out your HSA if that's available through work, your health savings account. It might be increasing your contributions to your 401k. It might be paying off your house prior to retirement and coming up with a strategy to help you accomplish that. It could be adjusting the risk of your retirement accounts prior to retirement. Maybe it's buying a new vehicle. There are endless examples of adjustments that can be made to your retirement plan when you have the time. But when you're on the doorstep of retirement, sometimes it's just too late. So as I mentioned, to recap, the earlier you can have this retirement plan completed or the first draft of this retirement plan, I always tell people that is, hey, this retirement plan is in rough draft mode. And then you kind of make adjustments to it or amendments to it as you go, as you get closer and closer to retirement and as your goals change. And what I love about the retirement plan, most of all, is the questions that it helps answer. One of the questions, as I alluded to earlier, is it helps you know, are you on track for retirement? Are you ahead of schedule? Or are you behind? And of course, if we're on track or ahead of schedule, that's kind of the good news, right? But if we're behind, well, we better pick up the pace. We better make some changes or we're not going to be able to meet our retirement goals that we want. So in other words, if we do a retirement plan and you're behind and you wanted to retire at 63, well, if you're behind and on the pace that you're on the track that you're on, you might not be able to retire until 70 or 68. But if we make some changes, maybe we save more for retirement or adjust your goals, maybe we can retire at 63 like you had planned on. So that's the first question is, are you on track to meet your retirement goals? Number 2, how much will you be able to live on in retirement? People ask me all the time, Greg, can I retire this year or could I retire today? And I always respond by saying, it just depends on how much money you want to live on in retirement. If you want to live on $500 a month, many people could afford to retire today if that was their goal. But if you wanted to live on between $5,000 and $10,000 a month, well, we're going to need a retirement plan to help us answer that question. So again, question number 2 that your retirement plan will answer is, how much money will you be able to live on in retirement and live comfortably in retirement? Question number 3 that your retirement plan will help you answer is how long your money will last. There are a lot of studies out there that talk about the biggest fear of Americans, and it's always in that top 5 is the fear of running out of money. And I bet if they narrowed that study down to retirees, it would be the number 1 fear for most people is running out of money before you run out of time. So your retirement plan will help you determine, with some assumptions, of course, how long your money is going to be there for you. How long will it last? The big fear that most people have that are retired is, I hope I don't outlive my resources or my money. And I truly believe that there are many people that probably work longer than they should simply because of that fear that they don't want to run out of money in their 80s or 90s. But if they just had a retirement plan that helped them determine how long their money would last, if it was until 92 or age 100, that would give them the confidence and the comfort knowing that, okay, I'm in a good spot to retire in 2021 or whatever the year was. Okay, so our retirement plan helps us determine if we're on track for retirement, how much money we will be able to live on in retirement. Question number 3, how long will our money last in retirement? And number 4, it helps us answer what rate of return do you need your money to make in order for your money to last and for you to have a successful retirement, doing the things that you and your spouse or you and your family want to do. And this answer to number 4, what rate of return you need your retirement accounts or your retirement nest egg to return to you is extremely important. Imagine I was presenting your retirement plan to you, and the retirement plan told us that Joe and Betty Smith, you need a 2% rate of return over the next 30 or 40 years to have a successful retirement. Just a 2% rate of return. But on the other hand, imagine I was presenting your brother or your sister the same plan, and I told them that they needed a 9% rate of return over the next 30 or 40 years for them to have a successful retirement. Which plan would you want, A or B? I would certainly want your plan, Plan A, that tells me I only need a 2% annual rate of return over the next 30 or 40 years to have a successful retirement. That would tell us that you really don't need to take the risk that your brother or sister needs to take to have the same positive outcome. And what a blessing that would be. And the final question that your retirement plan will help answer, and this is probably the most important question, is when can you retire? Given everything we've talked about so far, when can you retire? Is it 6 months from now? Is it at age 65 when you become Medicare eligible? Or is it age 70? Your retirement plan will use conservative assumptions and help answer this question of when you can afford to retire to the lifestyle that you want in retirement. And what's neat about that is it's not set in stone. So if the plan with its conservative assumptions says that you can retire when you turn 65, that's based on the information we have today. Everything in life changes, and over the years, as you get closer to your 65th birthday, you will want to revise the plan as you go. And it might turn out that, hey, originally you had planned on 65, but you experienced a better situation than what the plan assumed in the first place. And now, instead of 65, you can retire at 63 or 64. Or maybe you can still retire at age 65, but you can live on more money in retirement. So remember, the first draft of your retirement plan is not set in stone. It's clay that can be molded day by day, month by month, year by year. Grain by grain, a loaf. Stone by stone, a castle. If you talk to any pilot, the pilot will tell you that for every flight, they prepare a flight plan. Now, the flight may not go as planned, but they can always refer back to that original flight plan. Or imagine you're at the mall and you see the map of the mall and it says you are here and you want to get to Macy's. You can kind of get an idea by looking at the map of where you need to go to get to your destination. That's what a retirement plan is for. You don't just walk around aimlessly looking for Macy's. You want to find one of those maps that'll get you there the quickest. And I think so many people just save for retirement and save for retirement. Maybe they stop because their life changes, but they never have a retirement plan to see if they're even on track in the first place. And I think that's where they go wrong. It would be like a contractor or a builder just starting to build a house just from memory of what goes where. Okay, we'll start with the foundation. We'll start with putting in the basement and the concrete and so forth, but never operating off of a blueprint. They would never do that. They always start with the blueprint. That's the destination. That's the outcome that they're looking for. The blueprint itself is the plan. I hope today's discussion has helped you learn a little bit more about what retirement plans can do for you and how they can provide a better outcome for your future. If you have questions, you can go to my website, which is retirementmadeeasypodcast.com. That's retirementmadeeasypodcast.com. At the bottom, you can send Greg a message and type in your question there, and I'd be happy to get back with you in 24 to 48 hours. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We will catch you next time for another Retirement Made Easy podcast. And remember, always dream big. The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, please consult your attorney, tax advisor, or financial advisor prior to investing. This is a hypothetical example and is not representative of any specific investment. Your results may vary. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices mentioned are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The SmartVestor program is a directory of investment professionals. Neither Dave Ramsey nor SmartVestor are affiliates of St. Louis Retirement Advisors or LPL Financial. There is no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. No strategy assures success or protects against loss. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.